All right, today we're going to break down this hilarious script that pits two of anime's biggest heroes against their own worst enemies, their internal compasses. Forget about world-ending villains for a second. This is a fantastic look at how great comedy is born directly from character. So what happens when a sand warrior and a master swordsman get completely lost in the woods together? Let's dive into this little scene, because it's a brilliant example of how you build comedy using characters we already know and love. The idea is so simple, but the way they do it, it's just genius. Okay, first up, section 1, two heroes, one problem. See, before any of the jokes can really land, we gotta understand the setup. The whole reason this is funny is because our heroes are completely, and I mean completely, out of their element, and they're facing a problem that, anyone could have. So they're dropped into this weird, kind of blocky, video game-looking forest. It's totally unfamiliar, and the main conflict isn't some epic battle, it's just that they're hopelessly lost. This super simple problem becomes the perfect stage for their personalities to clash and, well, create all the humor themselves. Now, this slide right here is so important. It lays out the entire conflict before a single argument even starts. You've got two of the most powerful guys in their universes, but just look at that bottom row. Their most famous weaknesses are about to collide head-on in the most normal situation you can imagine. So that moves us into section 2, which gets to the real heart of it, the flawed compasses. This is where the script just builds this perfect comedic standoff, with each hero arguing for their own deeply and hilariously flawed logic. I mean, just look at this. It perfectly illustrates the two completely unreliable navigation systems they're working with. Zoro's banking on some mystical swordsman's instinct, while Goku is putting all of his faith in his stomach. It's literally a battle of a warrior's intuition versus primal hunger. So Zoro makes his case based entirely on his identity, right? In his mind, he's not just guessing. He thinks his skill as a swordsman automatically gives him an amazing sense of direction. He genuinely believes his own hype, which honestly just makes what's about to happen so much funnier. And then you have Goku. His argument is way more basic and, just as confident. He's not thinking about honor or awareness or any of that. He is focused entirely on his next meal. For Goku, his legendary appetite has basically become his North Star. And just like that, with one line, Goku completely pulls the rug out from under Zoro's logic with this perfect comedic callback. He reminds him and all of us that this has happened before, and that last time they followed his instinct, it was a disaster. A delicious disaster, but still. And all of this is building up to the brilliant punchline in section 3, and it all centers on Zoro's, let's call it his infamous sense of direction. The biggest laugh in this whole scene doesn't come from a clever line, it comes from a physical action that plays on one of the most beloved character flaws in all of anime. You have to see how this plays out. The physical comedy is the whole payoff. It's this perfect three-step beat. 1, Zoro points with total, absolute conviction to the left. 2, he declares, the village is this way. And 3, he immediately and just as confidently starts walking off to the right. His words and his actions are in perfect, hilarious opposition. So what's happening here is a classic comedic tool, the character gag. It's basically a running joke that's based on a personality trait we already know inside and out. The audience is already in on it. We're not surprised that Zoro gets lost. We are waiting for it. And seeing his signature flaw play out so perfectly is just so satisfying. So that brings us to our last section, why this works. Why is this super simple interaction so effective? What's the big takeaway from this little masterclass in comedy? At the end of the day, the scene works so well because it follows a pretty simple recipe. It just leans into everything we already know and love about these characters. The humor feels completely natural because it grows directly from their personalities clashing over a simple, relatable problem. And really, if you take one thing away, it's this. The humor feels earned. It feels so satisfying because it's a totally authentic reflection of who Zoro and Goku are. The best comedy isn't just about clever jokes, it's about character. This is a joke that only these two could create, just by being themselves. So it kind of leaves us with a fun question to chew on, doesn't it? It just shows you the creative goldmine that opens up when you clash well-defined characters. I mean, can you imagine someone like Sherlock Holmes and SpongeBob SquarePants trying to find their way out of a forest? The possibilities are just hilarious and endless. Thanks for joining this explainer.